Oh, good, because I can't hear him.
I did turn the heat up in here.
It's recording right now.
Don't know if it's
We are
comfortable.
recording.
I'm freezing.
Good morning. Good.
You have to hit got it to get it off the screen.
Okay. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that all members are participating by video conference.
Tom, can you hit got it?
Please be aware that other folks may be able to see you and to take care not to screen share your computer.
I think
Anything
you
that you
have to-
broadcast
can you hit
may
the
be
screen?
captured by the recording.
Can you touch that screen?
Ken, can you hit got it on your screen to get it off?
I got it.
You got it?
Thank
There
you.
we go. You got it? Got it?
Okay. Did everyone hear the fact that this meeting is being recorded and that all members are participating by video conference? Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you and to take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. Right. All supporting materials that have been provided members of this body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. The meeting is ground rules. We're now turning to the first item in the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I, the chair, will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone and computer when you are not speaking. Remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in conversation with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. For items with public comment, after members have spoken, the chair will afford public comment to those members of the public that have joined the meeting via Zoom. Members of the public who wish to speak must state their names, be acknowledged by and speak through the chair. Finally, each vote taken at the meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote. Okay, I will do a roll call now of the members that are present in attendance. Neville? Neville, can you hear me?
Apparently not.
Yes, you can't hear me?
Yep, yes. Tom?
Here.
Linda?
Here.
Mark?
Here.
Tim?
Here.
Eleanor?
Here.
Joe?
Here.
And the chair is present. Administrator Glenna?
I'm here too, Ken.
Here.
Getting me.
Every time.
Who did I miss?
Diane. You always miss Diane. Freudian.
I apologize. You're on my list.
I was on somebody's list.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
And
6,
Kathy,
7, 8, 9.
Here.
Kathy is here. Okay. Okay. We've approved the agenda. I would now ask Neville if he would speak to the comments that he received from Stuart as per the material that he requested from them. Neville?
Point of order, Mr. Chairman, before we go there. I've never, in the 20 years I've been on this thing, I've never seen anything like this. Who asked the coalition? We didn't vote on it. You didn't ask them. Who asked the coalition for this information?
We did ask them at the last meeting.
To send all of them up to the coalition? I don't remember that.
Stuart requested the information, the information once we talked to him. Neville, why don't you speak to this, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. We spoke about this at the last meeting. I asked the coalition there were questions on these items, and I was in doubt, as I always have. I don't know how long. I don't want to talk about who was here long and who was here short or nothing like that. But I do know, as a committee member, we know from the very beginning, when we get on this committee, if we have any questions at all, we can always call the coalition on our own to get information, because that's our job. So as my job, I called Stuart and I said, we have some things in question and I need some answers. And these items that I mentioned were the items in question, these 8 items. He then asked me to send it to him. And I told him I couldn't. I did not have the facility to send it. He said, well, is it possible you can get Glenna to send it? I said, well, I'll call and ask, which I did. And she did. And I said, can you get it back to us in a timely fashion? That's the only thing he didn't do, but I had to call him later on and tell him that we are not on a deadline anymore. So she sent it up at my request, because I could not do it, which is my job, which everybody here knows as a committee member, that office, we can go in there and request things. We can go in there and research things. That's what we could do with that office. It belongs to us as well as the general public. So that's what I did. I asked Glenna to please, can she please send these items up to Stuart so I can get an answer? And this is the answer. So
Not legal.
if there's nothing else, I will keep
We're
talking.
not.
We have to vote to do that. Did all of them go up or just these 5,
I think it was
Mr.
8.
Chairman,
8, whatever they are?
Neville,
Mr. Chairman, on these items, to me to contact the coalition and to get information from them and for them to request, what are we talking about? Can I send them a copy? Because they get copies of these things anyways. We do not need a vote. This is me doing my research as a committee member. We do not need a vote to do that. So that is incorrect. That is me getting information so I can bring it to the committee so we can do our job properly. This is information gathering. And are we in compliance with things?
Again, I asked the question to you, Mr. Chairman, did all of them go up or just these 8?
Just these 8, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, it's Tom.
Yeah.
When we have Neville or a member of the staff identify for the recording for members of the public who Stuart is and what his title is, etc.
yes, please, Neville.
Stuart Saginaw, he is the director of the Community Preservation Coalition in Boston. He runs the whole shebangy up there. He has been down here, I think once, many, many years ago when we first started, to give us an idea and give us an update and tell us basically what our job is. You know, what our job is. And in the beginning, he left us with one thing and one thing only. He said, this is all public funds. And the only thing that's required of us is to make sure the money is being spent on the items that whatever it was funded for, period.
Yeah.
You know, but there are very strict guidelines that we have to follow. We have guidelines that we have to follow. There are things that we can fund and we cannot fund. And also, as time went on, as with some of these things, I told him when he was talking about it that because we're out there, we're in Nantucket, so we're kind of unusual out here. So we have not been following things. He said he understands all that stuff, you know what I mean? But we were having problems with some items here because of the back and forth talk. I know that there are members of our committee who said that they know what was going on. They know what's supposed to be done. They know how it's supposed to be funded. They know that if we have a contract, if we got this, whatever. I did not. So me not knowing, that's my job. I go straight to the coalition. And I said, we have questions about these things. The only way they could answer the questions properly was by seeing the items. And if I could have done it from my home, if I had those skills, which I do not, I would have sent it from my home. But since I do not, we do have an office. So I went to the office and requested that they send it for me.
What's wrong with
to Stewart,
asking?
Saginaw. Excuse me, Mr.
No,
Chairman.
Who was asking?
It's
I
Diane.
I was asking Ken, what is the problem? That of asking this guy for some very interesting information.
I'm not aware of any problem.
I think the rest of the board should have been notified in case there are other things that we wanted to ask at this late date. And I was told by the staff that they only take orders from the chairman. I'm just gonna throw that on the table. We can move on. Oh, somebody's got a car alarm on.
I'm
Is that yours?
My point is that anyone that asks for information, additional information, I have always agreed to. And so to suggest that somehow this was done as a special favor to someone I find that offensive.
I didn't say it was a special favor to someone. I'm just telling you what I've been told when I've asked for something. So I'll leave it there for the moment.
Neville.
Mr. Chairman, since we do not, yes, Mr. Chairman, could you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, since we do not have a time limit anymore, which used to be sometime in the end of November, we still have a lot of time. If anyone else have questions to ask of the coalition, they can just call them and ask them. You know, just call them and ask them. Period. And if one of the staff members asks, if one of the staff members answered and they have the answer, that's fine. If not, they might refer you to Stewart and tell you when to reach Stewart.
Right.
It's a completely open thing.
And that is
Period.
all right, because that's what
Thank
we
you,
pay
Mr. Chairman.
dues for.
Yes.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
it's Tom again. I have absolutely no problem with the information that we got or Stuart being involved or the ED of CPA up in Boston. I think what sticks out for me is that it probably should have gone through some kind of process where it went to staff and then staff did it. Or
It did.
No,
Lana requested it.
all he did was move it up there. He just-
Request.
Lana did.
but okay, well, then may I ask why all of them weren't sent up in just these couple?
Yeah, that's my question.
To me,
No,
Mr. Chairman, is that a question to me?
it's a question for you.
Yes, because these are the only ones that were being contested, if you remember, and I have them all written down.
I never contested
These are the
Mariah
ones that were
Mitchell.
being contested. Excuse me, Mr. Chairman?
I never contested Mariah Mitchell.
Other people did.
I don't remember that.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
these are the ones that were being contested. So these are the ones that I sent.
And then Whalen Museum?
And Mr. Chairman, if one person did not contest it, does not mean that this stands for everyone. One person on the committee, Mr. Chairman, does not speak for the whole committee. If I remember correctly, this committee is made up of individuals.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, it just sort of seems like we're doing, and this is sort of a semi-audit of this year's submissions. And that if some of them were going up, then probably all of them should have gone up.
I
Yeah,
agree with that.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree.
And not somebody's personal list. Well, there we are.
Thank you.
Someone's accusing the one, but then someone did something by themselves, so.
Yeah,
I kind of feel like we should have just at least done an email. This is all coming up, so.
Hang on 1 second. At the last meeting, the items that were set up were the ones that we decided to do some further research on. So this is not an ad hoc thing. It was something that was discussed,
Wow.
the basis for which additional information was being requested.
not from the state, not from anybody in particular, because we had closed the public hearing, basically closed the public hearings on these because we were in the process of deliberations at that point. I agree with Tom, I agree with Eleanor, and I agree with Joe. That's four of us who agreed that if this was gonna happen, we should have been notified, first off. Second off, we should have all sent them all up there if we are gonna cherry pick them. And some of us didn't really have a problem with the old mill type of thing. There may have been one aspect of it. But this is I'm just flabbergasted after 20 years that this has taken place here. And I don't know why we have the one from wherever the other town is here.
Acton,
What other town was that? Somebody sent us
Norwell,
something.
this Acton, Norwell.
No, it was something
No, it
else.
was something.
It was something else. I don't know why I have that because it's not relevant to here because they don't really have a historic district, which is one of the old Deerfield, which is one of the oldest in the country. So I'm not sure exactly how relevant that is. So I'm just sort of, I got this stuff, I read it. And I was very concerned about some of the representations in the thing that came from Stewart. Because that's not actually, some of it's not correct. So I just don't know where it all came from. And now we're gonna have to start deliberations all over again, and maybe we just take the ones that are not on this list and deal with those guys first, and then see where we are on the other 8, just to get some of these off the table. That's
Mr.
me.
Chairman. Well, so I found the information interesting. I'm going to go from a little different point of view on this because it does say, and I thought it was an interesting idea. It does say that contingencies may be allowed, which is one of the things we've over the years that I've been on the committee have kind of toiled with the fact that they weren't. And he does suggest that contingency funds be allowed, but maybe that before they can be spent, the applicants come back to the committee for a vote in order to spend the money in the contingency. So some of the information, albeit we just got it yesterday, I really haven't had a chance to digest all of it, but you know, information isn't a bad thing. I do get the point that Neville made with regard to we should not feel stifled to be able to call to inquire about what the rules and if we have questions on applicants, we shouldn't be stifled with regard to calling Stewart. His name's bantied around a lot as the one we should go to over the time that I've been on the committee. But I also see the point of the others that maybe we should have sent them all up and looked for his comment on all of them, because we truly have never done this since I've been on the committee, had kind of an executive review of the applicants. So I don't know if we should get into a real back and forth on this today.
I don't know if you can see your hand on it.
Maybe we should send the remaining items up and look for his comments on all of them, and in a timely manner, then be allowed to review all of his comments and come back together and apply them to this year's applicants. That's kind of how I feel.
Ellen has her hand up. I don't know if you can see us in here.
I'm sorry, I can't. Whose hand is up?
Eleanor.
Eleanor and then Neville.
I would concur with everything Tim just said. I think information is invaluable, and I found this very interesting and enlightening. And because I'm one of the newer people on here, I mean, even Neville said there's things he doesn't, with all of his acumen and years of experience in industrial, knowledge, and and in terms of this domain, even he needed extra information. I could certainly have used that even on all the applications. So that's kind of, I don't object to Neville seeking in additional information. I think that's great. I think maybe I should have done that. I didn't realize I could do that, so now I know. And maybe I would have done it for all of them myself, to have a better understanding. So it's more just global understanding of all of them. And again, there may be, these same points may have stuck out on these so-called contentious applications. But for me, it would have been enlightening to see how it's broken down by this expert on all of the applications.
We should have known and gotten them sooner. I think Neville's hand was up next again.
We just got it yesterday.
I know.
4 o'clock.
Yeah, and Glenna sent it right out and I read
Yeah.
it. And again, thank you.
Neville, you have your hand up.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I really like following protocol because it gets very confusing sometimes. Through you, Mr. Chairman, I would agree with the committee. If the committee wants to, if the CPC of Nantucket want to send all the rest of these applications up to get Stuart's take on them, when Stuart makes these take, he's sitting with his whole committee because they're going through the act to see what the act is and what we are supposed to fund and what we are not supposed to fund. I know in the very beginning of the CPC on Nantucket, that's what we did. And every member I know went through the act. We read the act. And we also, if we didn't read the act, didn't have time to read the act, we know that's why the office is set up. It's even there in the act, why the office is there with all the information for every member of the committee to go in that office, sit down, and look at all the information and gather all the information. They have a copy of the act there, so you don't get it all entrusted into your house. That's why the office is there. It's our office for us to go in there. We don't go down there and run the office. The office is ran by that's even set up between the chairman and the person in charge of the office. That's who runs the office, nobody else. But we can go in and get information, just like the general public can go in. But we can go in, that's why it is a large table. We can sit down with all of our things that if we have any questions. And if we have further questions, then we can contact the coalition. It's all been an open thing because this is public funds. This is public monies. So I'm in total agreement if the committee, because they have not read, for those who have not read the act that went through to form this community preservation coalition, if they have not read the rules and regulations and what's funding and what's not funding in the act, then yes, let's send it up to Stuart. But I would encourage you to get the act and read it. It's there. If you don't have it, go down to the office and get it. But I would agree. If you are still in doubt, send it all up to Stuart. And so then when we come back, then we'll all be knowledgeable. We won't have to do it anymore. If we knew it, we would not be doubting why does somebody want $110,000
There we go.
for what do you call it, contractor fee or whatever it is, and then having someone on our committee, with all due respect, saying this is needed. This is needed is not good enough for me. I want to know what they're doing. I want to know what is the money being spent for, Mr. Chairman. That is why I question, and when I have doubts, and as long as I've been involved with the CPC, when I have doubts, I go to the source. That's why it's there. It's there to help us. We pay into it to get that information. We pay into it. The fee goes up every year of how much money we pay into the CPC, so we can get that information, Mr. Chairman.
I have a hand up, Mr. Chairman.
I have a hand up too, Mr.
Thank you,
Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
Neville's had the floor. Whose hand up went first?
Diane, I believe, got me and then me.
Okay.
Uh,
Diane,
I think that at least what I got from, what's his name up there, that it was very informative and stuff that I really hadn't come up, like the town taking over a public building and all that stuff. I think we should know that. I don't know whether when we do the first going through, we should see what problems, we should list the way the problems are, list what problems are on each
already did that.
for each application. As with the church, with the Catholic Church and all that. I don't think we should ignore the 8 guys that were on this list today going with somebody else. I don't think that's fair. They didn't annoy you. So I don't think we should either look at it today all the way, or we should hold on another week and
He wasn't
send
here
up
those 2 meetings.
No.
the rest of them and then have the meeting. I don't know, but I don't think we should be arguing really about what about the information. They said, that man said right in his thing that Nantucket was covered by several special things because it was Nantucket. So how many of you know what he said?
What?
It's-
What?
I don't know.
I don't know.
So I think that if we don't go away from the whole problem and cover it for the next meeting, then I think we should take the problems today the way we were going to.
All right,
That's all.
hands up, Mr. Chairman.
Linda, please.
Just to be clear, Diane, you missed a couple of the meetings for other reasons. We did all that twice now. This is the third meeting we're going through it, so this is not the first meeting we're going through every one of them
I
individually.
know it's not the
detail.
first meeting.
All right, can I finish, please? The one
No.
thing that Stuart misses that we've all participated with is the actual interviews with the applicants to actually drill down on the scopes of what they're doing, what they're not doing, what they're not covering, what we can cover. He got none of that. What he saw was a sterile document. Hopefully he saw the whole application, but he saw the sterile
I'm sorry,
documents that
you
when
didn't see the whole application.
did he or did not?
No, the whole application was forwarded.
Okay, what he didn't get was the individual interviews with the applicants where we parsed out, I'll give you an example, where we parsed out the Preservation Institute and the Town Preservation Planner about the road survey. We're not asking, and they were not asking for money to do the improvements. What they were doing is under the old historic district, which is a nationally recognized, federally recognized historic district, is to do a survey of the historic sidewalks and the materials. So when the town does do the work, which is not part of the application, we don't cover that part of it. It's an historic research that is an adjunct to the survey forms that are being updated now from 1989. Which also includes the roadways and what they're made of, et cetera, et cetera. That's an entirely different issue than some of what Stuart was talking about here, about maintenance and physical, doing the actual maintenance. That has nothing to do with what they asked for. They asked strictly for the historic preservation part of it, which is within the scope of the CPA under historic resources. So that I had a problem with. That's just one of the little nuances that we, ferreted out when we had the actual interview with the applicant. So I'm saying that, he was looking at the application, but he missed that entire part of this where we actually drilled down on exactly what the funds are going to be used for. So that I'm concerned about on some of these. Because I'll put another one in there. The rectory on Orange Street. I understand where he's coming from, but he doesn't understand from the historic preservation part of it, that is an historically unique structure. The public does go in that structure, but it's also a couple of years ago, maybe before the pandemic, we asked up there whether or not a structure that is historically, architecturally important in the old historic district in particular, could be in the public domain because of its visibility on one of the most heavily trafficked road in town. And it's an historic resource. And he said we could do that. Where the question came up for those who are new here is on the Mariner House, the blue one on Center Street. That's where we asked the question. And they said, though we could do that, there were some issues with ownership, et cetera, so we didn't decide to do that. But we've done it with the second shop there on India Street. We've
That's
done it
right.
with other historic structures because of their importance and the public domain part of it. But they said simply being in the public domain, like that one on Main Street, which is the only building like that on the island. We could use funds for the preservation, exterior preservation of those structures because they are so publicly visible. But in the case of St. Mary's, that the people do go in and out of that building. He wasn't aware that the public does go in and out of that building on the corner of what remains building. That the public does go in and out of that building. All of this we ferreted out through the public participation of the applicants. So that's why I'm having trouble with a lot of what's in here is because he missed that whole part of it. So I think those are the issues we need to discuss when we get to these 8 in particular.
Neville, your hand's up.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, just in response to some things that was said, Mr. Chairman. The Mariner House, the reason we did not fund the Mariner House, the only reason we did not fund the Mariner House was because the tenants in there refused to contribute any part of the funding for whatever repairs there was to be done. That is the reason why we didn't fund the Mariner House. Now, with all due respect, Mr. Chairman, to the last speaker, all this does, it makes us more informed. Sure, Stuart was not there to ask the questions, but we know now if we were to do this
I'll tell you,
in this way,
You can
if we
do it.
were to do this in this way, Mr. Chairman,
we have to break in.
then we as a committee, excuse me, Mr. Chairman, someone is speaking. I'll wait.
Please let Neville speak. I'll give you your turn. And when Neville's done, I have
Yes,
Joe.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the information that we got from Stuart here, and the information that we will get if we send it all back, and the information we will have going forward will be more informed in terms of the questions that we can ask the applicant when they come in. Because it's very obvious that all this information, a lot of it is new. Whether you agree with it or not, it is what is in the act. It is telling us, Mr. Chairman, how we are to spend this public funds, what we are to spend the public funds for. One example I will give you on a personal basis that I had with the sidewalk on Main Street. Another research, that's what drove me to all of this. I remember there was a young lady that came before the young lady that works with the town that came for the same project. And I don't remember her name. So I went to the town, I went to the DPW and I asked them, do you know, just said, yeah, we know about that project. They actually gave her funding to do that project and it was never done. The money was never used. And this is something in public records, I guess. So the DPW took the money back. So when he says something in his thing here about historic, if you move preservation or whatever it is, public funds cannot be used for side or historic preservation is not sidewalk. Whether you go into the sidewalk to check what's there, or whether you look at the sidewalk to see what is up and what is down, or what bricks are replaced, that is regular maintenance work. CPC funds cannot be used for regular maintenance work.
That's correct.
Especially with historic, regular maintenance work is regular maintenance work. It's what
Not what we're talking about.
Or periodically. What am I?
Joe's hand is up.
Mr. Chairman.
But
No, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I thought Neville was done. Sorry. I'm
no,
done.
when Neville's done,
I'm finished, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Joe.
Yeah, no, I think we all know that it's not a maintenance thing, but what I was gonna say is we send out the applications, but did we send up the YouTube video so that he can see that we're having some conflict, we're having some concerns, and I think that debate is really important for his decision because it doesn't seem like he has that knowledge. And that's why I'm saying if it's gonna go up, then yourself or Glenn or whoever said, hey, FYI, this is gonna go to state. Don't do a reply all, everyone, but shoot you an email like, is this being provided? There's more information. That's what I think we're having a problem with.
Yeah.
The other part is, I got this at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I didn't get out of a meeting till 9 o'clock last night. I had a 7 o'clock meeting this morning. I didn't have time to get through all this. I mean, I skimmed it. And like Tim said, it's still like working in the back of my mind. And so, the other part of why I walked in at 9 o'clock is because I'm trying to get through this information that is sent, that is extremely important to this meeting and how it's structured and going forward. And then, I almost want to say, can we just wait another week or go back to the next,
Yes.
meeting date? Because so we can get through all this information, have all the applications reviewed and do this properly, because I'm feeling rushed and I don't want to do this on really important projects. So that's just my opinion. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I don't have a problem with that. We got the information out to you as quickly as we got it, and I think it's really more important for this committee to do the right thing as opposed to do the quick thing.
Good, agree.
Like that.
I think everybody in this room is nodding that you can't see us.
Okay? So how do we want to deal with this? Do we want to schedule another
I'll
meeting?
make a motion to adjourn and is everybody here next week, by the way?
I don't, not going anywhere.
I think everybody's here next week.
Neville, you had your hand up.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Again, I'm going, coming through you, Mr. Chairman. There was a question that was brought up later that I'd hate to see it come up later on if you just stop. A question was asked that, hey, we should send all of it up to Stuart. If the committee still wants to do that, I think just to like cut through all the traces, you should do that. I don't think it's necessary, but it was mentioned by someone, and they apparently there were apparently a couple of other people who wanted to send the rest of it up there to Stuart. I don't think it's necessary, but we should deal with all of that, so we won't be dealing with it later on. And like I keep saying over and over, which I think is a very good thing, we are not on a tight schedule anymore. We used to be, but we're not. So we have time. We do have time.
Right.
Joe has his hand up.
Tim has his hand up first.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I agree with everyone. But I did want to respond to the comment about next week. I think, just my own personal flavor, but I think we should actually postpone this till after the holidays. I don't think there's any reason to try to.
Yeah.
Or the week after.
Stuart may not be working next week. Kathy just pointed out that Stuart may not be working next week all week and probably not the week in between the holidays. And we're going to send them all up there. And I think Joe's got his hand up. We're going to send them all up there. Then we need to send the links to the videos for all the applicants. Joe's
Well,
hand is-
he can go on and see it because it's recorded.
It's posted somewhere.
So, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
so I think we should share that with him. And then again, one person, Neville, is saying that we shouldn't do this, but I think we should take a vote.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. He's accusing us of all being singular, but I think he's being singular right now where we should be voting as a committee. That's what we should be doing right now. So does everyone want it? I'll make a motion. Does everyone want to send up the rest of the applications? And along with that, the YouTube video link so we can see everything. And then also why we're sending that email, is he available to be, have something prepared by the next meeting? So if I,
Or when?
or when, yeah, by when?
If there's no rush, we can give them the courtesy of saying, by when do you think you could have this? So we can set the meeting parameters.
Okay.
That's my motion.
Tom, when do your recommendations go in, period? Are they end of January or into February
The warrant,
for you guys?
I think January 24th is our slated date.
All right, so we've got a deadline here of January 24th to have our final to the select board,
No,
because they're the ones that are putting it in. Yes. We don't put our own in. The selectmen put it in.
I
Select
know,
board.
I know. But I think Tom's date was, that's their target date. That doesn't mean it's the final date.
Well, let's not push the envelope here.
Joe, may I make a friendly amendment
Yes.
possibly to your, and also to possibly ask Stuart to come to one of our meetings. And so he can talk through, if he writes out something like he did for all of them, then he can come through and then,
We can do it on Zoom.
yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Yep.
Yeah.
That's my motion, Mr. Chair.
I'll second that motion.
Neville, you had a comment
Discussion on the motion.
on the motion.
Yeah, on the motion, this is just my opinion. If the committee wants to send all the applications up to Stuart so he can review it, I have no problem with that. Setting the video and all of that in our meetings. He's not interested in that. He's interested in the law. He's interested in the act. He can read the proposals and he will know, because you can tell that he read those proposals, the aid that he got very thoroughly. He can probably quote page by page. That's what they do. And he will know from that what we fund, what we're supposed to be funding, what we don't fund, and all of that. That's the information that we need. He doesn't need to see the conversation between us and the applicants. And like I said before, when you have this
We should have the option.
information, when you have
Yeah.
that information,
I'm not
from-
listening to him
and when
anymore.
you have,
I just say the option.
I'm stopping, Mr. Chairman, is someone talking?
Kathy, please stop.
Okay,
But all she was adding is that we give him the option. So we send him the
Mr.
link.
Chairman?
If he wants to
Let-
watch,
let-
then he can
let-
watch.
Just
Mr.
one
Chairman, do I
second. When
have the
someone
floor?
else is speaking, please let them finish and don't interrupt.
Oh, we don't get to talk.
Mr. Chairman,
No.
when we have that information, and hopefully, this is all online, the act is online. It will give everyone a chance to go and read the act. It comes under certain categories. Historic preservation, it comes under the categories that we have here. It's
I'm gonna
not
leave.
just reading. But it does take time to your,
Can't do this anymore.
to your thing, Joe. Yeah, you need a little bit of time. You just read it and you will know. Then you will know what questions to ask going forward in the future. To ask the applicants when they come in. When you read their proposals, because everyone's not perfect. I mean, when the applicants come in, they're not perfect. There might be changes and there might be things that you want and things, things that might be necessary and things that may not be necessary. But you will know what questions to ask. I'm afraid that I don't agree with us sending the videotapes of our interviews with the applicants.
Him and then
But I
Mark.
agree with everything else. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Ken. I do think it would be important if we send the applicants that haven't gone to Stewart. I think it would be important to send the action that the committee has taken on each applicant. So he knows we're in favor of it, partial funding, full funding, whatever it is. I do think it would be good to get his review of whether he agrees with the draft action that the committee has taken so far.
That would be at those meetings, Tim, with the video links as well.
Right, but if he chose, as Neville said, Linda, not to look at the video, at least if he looked at the narrative, we could say the committee's taken an opinion on this to fund it, or, yeah, I just think it would be helpful for him to know that, that's all.
Mark,
Thank you, Ken. Ken, clarify one thing for me. We're talking about, this whole conversation is concerning contingency fees and general contractors fees. Is that correct?
that is correct.
Why can't we have this guy come on a Zoom call with us and explain to us the general guidelines, and then let this committee make its decisions regarding those those fees for the applications? We are a committee, knowledgeable committee on many of these cases, and go from there. I don't think we need to have him analyze every application. That's our job. I think he should spell out the guidelines and let us act in accordance with those guidelines. I really don't see. Oh, Eleanor is saying no, but anyway, I don't get it. I think we should be able to decide who can and who can't get guidelines. I mean, get contractor fees and general contractor fees. But thank you.
I think we've already opened that can of worms.
Kim's hand is up, please.
Mark, I think for me, the notification that we got last night at 4:00 is much broader than just contingency fees and travel expense. Although he did point out that those are both allowable if the CPC it deems, but it goes into much more depth. Like, for example, on the pickleball court, no budget, preservation restrictions, who holds them. There's a lot of things that he's pointing out that I think are good reminders for some of us that have been on the committee, and good information for our new members that maybe weren't aware of those things. So to send them all up and to maybe look for his advice on them, both on the actions we've taken and the questions that we have, there's nothing but good that can come out of that, in my opinion.
Eleanor's hand is up, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, I didn't see that. Eleanor?
I'll be brief. I don't want to go round and round in circles and argue and rebut. I want to just say, I'm really glad Neville did this because it has awakened me to the fact that we can get this information. I am new. I'm a very busy person, as are all of us. I don't have a lot of extra time to get into the granular aspects of the of the act, I'll be honest. When I was the zoning administrator, I knew the zoning bylaw very well. Linda knows it by heart. I still had to occasionally seek out expert consultation for how to interpret or apply something in interesting cases, in nuanced cases. And again, I'm new, I'm the new. This is useful information for me. So I really like the aspect, maybe we won't do it every year, but I really personally, and this is selfish, like the ability to have this expert apply the regulations, you know, down to the nitty gritty of each application. So I understand how to approach, evaluate, analyze, et cetera, going forward. It's going to be educational for me. So I'm being selfish here, but I disagree with Mark. I think, yes, we can all do our own due diligence, but I'm still going to miss something. I have a year and a half on this commission, and I would like to be more knowledgeable. So for me, it's again, I will admit that it's selfish, but I could really use it. I really enjoyed this small brief. I mean, it's only a couple of pages and I read it twice and I got a lot out of it. I would really like to get even more.
Joe's hand is up, Mr. Chairman.
Joe,
Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, in the planning board, we had the same thing. We have staff comments, notes for each project, and I really enjoy that. And I think this is the same thing, but I just want to delve into this and get more information. So that's why, you know, I'd like to wait. And it's like Eleanor said, there are nuances. That's why I think if we have this, we'll call it staff review, I think that'll be really important to all of us. So I think moving forward, I'd like to do this, but there is a motion on the floor for a vote.
would it make sense for me to reach out to Stuart to see if he might be available for one of our meetings to answer the questions that we have?
I think it'd be a great idea,
Agreed.
Great.
Agree.
but we do have a motion made and seconded on the table, Mr. Chairman.
And that's the motion to send the applications to Stuart for review.
Along with the video links.
Yeah, with adoption.
With the option.
And an invite.
Yeah, and the
The thing is, he can go online to see those, because to try and send all of that might be too long to be able to send up to him, so.
no, we
It's
didn't
just-
say
it's
that.
just a
We just send the
web
link.
link.
Send the link.
Just
Just
the
send the
link.
link.
Okay,
Don't worry.
all right, so there's a motion, is there a second?
I already seconded.
So did
Sorry.
Tom.
All right. Further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor by roll call? Neville?
I gotta qualify my vote, Mr. Chairman. I agree with sending the applications. I do not agree with sending the link.
I don't
Diane?
know.
Tom?
Aye.
Linda?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Eleanor?
Aye.
Joe?
Did you get Diane Coombs?
Say aye.
Aye.
And Joe Tom, aye.
Don't confuse the issue.
I'm not trying to confuse it. I'm trying to not forget Diane.
You're confusing me, Joe.
Sorry. I don't want to forget Miss Coombs.
Diane top him and.
We would have made sure.
It carries unanimously.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I don't think Neville voted in favor of that, Mr. Chairman.
No, he didn't.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I said I qualify, I want to vote, I want to qualify my
You
vote.
can't.
You can't do.
You can't do that.
That's a
You can't
no.
bifurcate. That's a no.
Tell, Mr. Chairman,
yes,
please tell me the rule that says that I cannot do that. Give it to me so I can look it up, please.
We're
Tell me
under
the rule that
Robert's
I can-
rules,
I can
Mr.
split
Chairman.
my vote if
You
I
can't
want.
bifurcate a vote. It was, the motion was an entire
I'm not
motion.
speaking to- I'm
Either
speaking
vote
to
for the
Chairman.
motion or you don't.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, through you.
Yes.
Through you, I am not speaking to Miss Williams, I'm speaking to you. Only you. Can you please give me the ruling where I can, because I agree with sending the
Oh my
applications
God,
up.
I'm
I
leaving.
do not agree with sending the link.
Then it's a no.
Mr. Chairman, I have my hand up.
yes.
Mr. Chairman, right before you took the vote, you said, are there any more comments and no one spoke. And then you started the roll call, and then the comments came in. So
It's a-
Neville, when he asked for comments, give the comments and then make your vote. That's the procedure. That's what we're. It's
Mr. Chairman,
motion to close the meeting. Good Lord.
You can't do that, Neville.
Neville, you had your hand up.
yes, Mr. Chairman. When the comments were said, that's what I said. I made my comment. I said I
Is this
agree
crazy?
with sending the applications up. I did not agree with sending the video of our meeting with the applicants.
Then
I
it's a
said
no
that.
vote. You vote on the
That
motion.
should be in the records. If you look back, you will see that right there.
It is.
You have to vote on the entire motion, Neville. That's what
You
Robert's
should-
rule
Mr. Chairman,
says.
We
Mr.
have voted
Chairman.
on the motion. We have voted on the motion and the vote was no.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
All in favor?
Roll call.
Any discussion on that motion?
Hardly.
Neville?
Happy holidays. How about that?
Okay.
Now, I know, Mr. Chairman,
Oh, no.
Neville,
just so everybody understands something. First of all, this is not funny. You're laughing when you're spending public funds. If you think it's funny or it's lackadaisical, then that's fine. Then you gotta say, do you belong here? You're spending millions of dollars of public money. Our taxpayers, our money is being used for these projects. If you're not doing it right, we cannot do it lackadaisically.
I don't think
It's not a
anyone's
joke.
that.
Point of order.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. Nobody is saying that at all, and we're all getting a little frustrated here because nobody's saying that we don't take our job seriously. Otherwise, we wouldn't be sitting here. So to be accused that none of us are taking this as a joke, that we're taking this as funny, is really appalling, Mr. Chairman, and I'm out of this room. If there was a motion to adjourn,
Since
it
you
was
spoke out of
seconded. I'm
turn,
gonna ask
I
you to
will speak
move
out
the
of turn,
motion,
because the
Mr.
public
Chairman.
just saw you all laughing and jokingly about this. This saw it because it's on tape.
there was a motion to, there has been there was a motion to adjourn. There was a second to the motion.
Second.
Already seconded.
Who made the motion to adjourn?
Linda.
Linda.
Tom seconded it.
Tom?
Diane.
Okay, roll call. In favor of the motion to adjourn, Neville? Diane?
Aye.
Tom?
aye.
Linda?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Kim?
Aye.
Eleanor?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye.
Thank you. We're meeting next Tuesday, right?
Oh, we
You
we
don't
don't
have
know
anything on the
anything.
agenda for next Tuesday.
Do we have
There's
something on the
nothing.
agenda?
No,
If there's anything on the agenda, we will send out a notice. Otherwise,
there isn't anything.
otherwise the meeting will be canceled.
Okay.
Thank you. Then if so, happy holidays. to
Happy
everybody.
holidays.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Have fun at home.
We're having.
Happy something.
Okay,
Would-
How do we,
we're adjourned.
how do we
Thank
turn
you.
this thing off?
Sayonara.
Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year, and happy other holidays.
You too,
You
Ken.
Ken.
Anything else?
Thanks, Ken. We'll see you soon, Ken.
Okay, terrific. Thanks, Mark.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Aye.
Who shuts it off?
Are you eating anywhere?
Do we do it here or do you do it there?
Glenn is coming back to shut it down.
Oh, we can't leave this up for a half an hour.
Oh, Glenn is coming back to shut this down, I
Oh,
believe.
coming back to your place?
Yes.